really just my basement with all my growing stuff. And it does have a garage door, which is kind of good because I can move plants in and out. But anyways, today what we're going to do is start Snapdragon and Strawflower seeds. I already did start, and I'll show you in a little bit, pincushion, which haven't really, they haven't wowed me yet. Hopefully they'll start to do better. Pincushion, Ami, and calendula, which I've been pronouncing phonetically calendula, but it's actually calendula, which is funny. I finally put two and two together. Today I'm going to be using a different seed starting mix. This is the black gold seedling mix. Prior to, I started the other seedlings in the Jiffy natural and organic seed starting mix. They, like I said, they haven't been doing great, so I'm just trying something new and seeing if maybe that's the problem. So already I can see this has perlite in it to probably help with moisture, and that was the issue I was having with the other mix, that it's just drying out so fast. And I work, so it's not like I can be down here every 15 minutes spraying the seedlings. So I'm also using Bootstrap Farmer. This is the 72 cell count air pruning tray, and all that means is that there's slits down the sides of each cell that will air prune the starts. So when the seedling starts to put out roots, instead of them wrapping in a circular way, they'll actually, the roots will hit the oxygen and they will self-prune, and they will just prune themselves, and they won't start going in circles, because sometimes that can make for a rough transition. So when you take these out of their starts, the cell tray, and you plant them, the roots are already straight down, so they'll just be able to spread. Whereas when they're curled around like that, it's not good. They can kind of strangle themselves. So I've already pre-moistened the soil, and I'm just going to spread it into the cells like it is cake. The other thing that I noticed when I planted when I planted my first round with the pincushion flowers, there was a lot of air pockets that I didn't get all the way out. And that could be problematic, but I have a nice little solution to that. I am going to stick another cell tray on top of this one to squish it down so that I can make sure I get all the air pockets out. You don't want air pockets, because when the roots hit those, then they will have nothing to grow through, and we don't want that. So you have to make sure that it's pressed all the way in there good, and oftentimes just shaking it does the trick. And they have holes. These have holes between each cell, so that for the air pruning purposes, so that each cell can have those slits on it. It can't be adjacent to another cell, so it has to have the separation. You can see right here. Probably can't see, but this is what I am going to do to see. I can push down the soil. That way I can see which ones I've missed. I don't know how good of a shot that is. So I see I've totally missed some slots. I just so happen to have this antique wash bin, and it actually fits perfect for my trays to kind of lay on top of here like a shelf. Honestly, I don't know if that worked so great, putting the other one on top. Maybe a little bit, but kind of have to poke down with each. And like I said, those separating holes, you got to poke through all that too. but this is such good plastic. It's not going to break, and the investment that I made in it, it's going to last me. A lot of those thin plastic ones, you might be able to get a season out of them, but then you're just throwing away broken plastic because they'll split down the sides. And we have enough plastic that is just going into the landfill, so I figured I would invest in some really good ones like these from Bootstrap Farm, and that way I don't have to keep buying it. There's still a few holes that I have. For the seeds today that I'm starting, Snapdragon and Strawflower. They're for my cut flower garden, and they can actually be directly sown, but I was kind of late to the party on the whole cut flower thing. I did sow some seeds directly. The calendula I did, and buplurum I did, and they did fine. I thought I had missed the window, but here in my zone 8A garden, I don't know what I was worried about. Those flowers can stand up to, or at least even the seedlings. I guess I haven't seen the flowers yet, but they can stand up to cold nights. They were fine. I actually should have just went ahead and started all of them, but I didn't want to waste all the seeds and then have my little experiment not work. So lesson learned, even if you're past when you should be doing it, it's okay. You can still do it, at least where I live. It was fine. And at least they're gonna have a head start from these. So the Snapdragons I have today are the Potomac version, or the Potomac kind, and I have Strawflower king size mix. And the Strawflower is a vibrant papery blooms in shades of yellow, white, orange, and pink, a long-lasting cut for fresh and dried use. And they really are great for dried flowers, and I want to do that. I've seen a lot of cool things be done with dried flowers, and I want to experiment, see what that's like. So my purpose for planting them is dual, for both arrangements and for to try to experiment with drying them out. Okay, this takes longer than you think. I just want to make sure. I noticed when I did it the first time, I had several that I didn't squish them down enough. So I'm trying to be a little bit more vigilant this time around and making sure I have some good, I don't want it too compact, but I want to make sure that there's no air pockets. So anyways, we have Strawflower and Potomac mix Snapdragon, and this one says a mix of bloom colors on tall, sturdy stems. Potomac is an excellent variety for warm temperatures, long days, and high light conditions. And these are a mix of colors. I got both of these from Gardener's Workshop, from Cool Flower Girl herself, Lisa Mason Ziegler. That's her company. So I figured, who better to buy seeds from than the OG and Cool Flowers. So today I'm doing a whole 72 count tray of the Strawflower and a whole 72 count tray of the Snapdragons. Now they're tiny and they require light to germinate. So what I'm going to do is just, I'm going to take my marker here. I'm just going to poke a small little indentation, and in that I will attempt, notice I say attempt, I will attempt to get a seed down in there. See, look at that. That was a huge air pocket. That's why it's a good idea to poke holes down to make sure you don't have an air pocket. So now I have a hole in each one. These are the tiniest of seeds. And I will attempt to drop maybe one or two. Okay, so that is it. That is our first tray of Strawflower. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put this in a tray with holes. I'm sorry, without holes. I'm going to fill this up with water and then set this down in it. This will help with the humidity. It's really not for bottom watering just yet. I'm going to stick the humidity dome on top of this and spray them down. So you can tell I've been over there spraying. So you just want to start with wet soil, and then once you plant the seeds, you want good soil to seed contact, but they need light to germinate, so you can't press too much because they need that light to germinate. So I'm just very delicately going to try to tap in any of them that are sitting on top. I did try to get them in the hole, and I'm going to very carefully just try to tap, tap, tap. I just go whole hand. Just wondering if I saw any seeds. And then cover it with a dome. And this dome from Bootstrap Farmer, it has these dials on it where you can open up ventilation holes or turn it so that they're covered up. I'm going to start covered up, and once seeds, if there's only a couple that have germinated, I'll just open up the vents to keep some air circulation going on, because I want to avoid any kind of dampening off situation. That's where the seedling comes up, and then you see it one day, and then you go back and look at it, and it looks like it's been cut off at the bottom where it's coming up from the soil. That is a fungus that happens due to poor air circulation. So when you see your seeds start to germinate, you actually want to take the humidity dome off, even if all of the seeds have not germinated. I have found, though, with the other set that I did, when I had just a few germinating, I just turned the little dials a little bit, and I actually ended up putting a dome on half of mine, because the trays that I already started had multiple things in them, and some took longer to germinate than others. So we'll see what happens with that. But these dials are nice because you can get some air ventilation, airflow, while you're still waiting for some other seeds to germinate. So these are going in the top. I'm just going to take these off. Put those down just for a second. And I also am starting these on a heat mat. So under the lights they go. And we'll just repeat with the Snapdragons. And poking holes. Now, these ones are the Snapdragon Potomac mix. I'm actually really excited about these. Ooh. Small seeds, everyone. So small. So small that you can't even see them. I wish I had a towel. Okay. So let's see what we have. Oh my goodness, are they small? Okay. I'm gonna go get a towel. Clean hands. When your hands are all muddy, it's hard to see the difference between what is dirt and what is a seed. Okay. Not a whole lot of seeds here. And I already lost one. And that was it. Ooh, doggy, these are small. Yay! Done. That actually was quite intensive, trying to really only focus on one seed at a time. So I'm gonna go ahead and mist these down. The seeds need to stay moist or they won't germinate. So I'll put the humidity dome on, but this will get them off to a good start and help with that humidity, of course. And then if any of those sprinkles sprinkled on top, which anything could have happened when I just did that. These need light to germinate as well. So we are going to be done with that, thank goodness. I'm going to start off with a little bit of water in the tray. That will help with the humidity. This goes in here. These are the Snapdragons. What I've done for labels, I've just taken plastic containers and chopped them up, and that's what I'm using for labels. So Land O'Lakes, honey butter, this will now become my label. And these were the Snapdragons. I should really start with that because I forget every time. And my other one was the Strawflower. And under the lights, these will go with the other ones, and I'll put a humidity dome over these ones as well. And I'll just turn the dial so that all the holes are closed up. So that is starting seeds for Snapdragon and Strawflower. Just remember, don't cover up the seeds with soil. They need light to germinate. Keep them moist. Good seed to soil contact. I don't know how good of a job I did on that since I dropped them down the holes, and I didn't want to put my utensil that I made the holes with, I didn't want to put it down because those seeds were so small. I was actually afraid that they would either push more dirt on top of it or grab the seed on the way up. So we'll see if we'll see how they do. Time will tell. But that is seed starting for Snapdragons and for Strawflowers. Bye everybody.